Hello there, thanks for joining me once again. And the fly I'm going to tell you today is another wet fly pattern. And I thought this pattern looked quite unique where it's all red. And it's called the red ibis. I got out of my book, The Fly's the Best 1000 once again. And I thought it was a pretty cool looking wet fly. A good attractor looking fly. And I thought you might like to see this guy tied this time around. So I'll get this hook out of the vise, a fresh one in, we'll give it a go. Okay. The hook is a mustad 3906B and the size 12. Lock that down here in the vise. And I'm using UTC 70 denier and a red. So we'll start about a hook eye length behind here. And we're going to wrap back to just about to the barb. Let's get a good thread base down here. Okay, and we'll snip off the tag end. Now, the tail just consists of some soft red hackle fibers. And I'm just going to pull a small amount off here for the tail. Just like so, here. Okay, and we'll measure that up. And about hook shank length. And we'll tie that in on top here with a pinch wrap. Come in, pinch that a couple times. Okay. And we'll stop our thread there. Okay, next step is just to trim that excess a little bit back where I want the body to end. Okay, now the rib is some small flat gold tinsel. So I'm going to tie that in on the far side here with the gold side down. Once I get it situated here, I'm going to tie that in on, that would be the side facing you there. We're going to tie it on. If I can get it to cooperate for me. There we go. Tie that on that side. And I'm going to come back just a few more wraps onto that. So it's just about above the barb. Okay, now I'm going to wrap up the shank, binding down those excess fibers as I go, creating a smooth underbase here for the floss. And we'll stop there. Okay. Okay, next I have a piece of single strand unifloss in red, and I'm going to place that right on top here, just like so. And I'm going to pull that to where I want it to be. Okay, make a couple more wraps just to secure that down tight. Okay, now I'm going to try to flatten it out a little bit and begin to wrap back, because I'm going to wrap back and then up, back, or excuse me, down the shank and back up on this particular pattern. Okay. We all know how unruly floss can be, so sometimes you just got to be patient with it to get it to cooperate with you, that's for sure. Okay. I want to get one more wrap there. Right in front of that tail. I'm going to pull nice and hard here for these first wraps here in front of the tail so I don't get any bumps. Okay, then we'll begin to wrap up the shank to our tie-off point. Okay, so we'll come in and tie that off underneath. A couple wraps in front. Okay, and I'm going to come in, move the thread out of the way with my fingers and snip that off close. Okay, there we go. Tie it down with a few more wraps. Okay. Next step is to bring that tinsel around. And we want the gold side showing, so. And we'll start there and we'll get one wrap. I usually go for about 4 wraps on these. Okay, there's 3. And we'll easily get one more, so we'll tie that guy off. Right on top there, a couple wraps to secure it down. Then I'm going to wrap forward onto it. Then fold it back as well, trap that in, lock it in nice and tight. Okay. Then I'll come in and snip off the excess, nice and close. Alrighty, so there's our tail, body, and the rib. Now for the throat of this fly, it's the same as the tail, more soft red hackle fibers, and I usually like to have about twice the amount I used for the tail. So whatever you put on for the tail, just try to get about twice the amount on for the throat. Okay, I'll pull those off, make sure the tips stay even for me. And I like those to come past the hook point a little way, so I'm going to tie those in here. Right underneath. Come around. And wrap back on them. A few wraps. Snug that down. Just have a look at it. That looks good there. Yeah, I'm going to come in nice and close and snip that off. That's where a good pair of scissors with real fine points comes in handy for these, making these real close cuts. It helps a lot. Okay, then I'm going to bind those down a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to come back a couple more wraps here. And that's where I want to attach my wing, right where the thread is hanging now. Okay, so I have two. The pattern calls for red duck quill, one from the left, one from the right, and I don't have any red duck quill, so I just substitute it for goose, which works just fine. I just have two here that I'm getting lined up, ready to tie in. Make sure they're even. Okay, that looks good there. Now I want them to come back usually about, let me see, I just gotta adjust those a little bit more, just bear with me here. Okay, I like those to come back about halfway on the tail usually. Sometimes a little farther, doesn't hurt. Okay, and I'm going to come up around between my fingers, pinch that, pull down, and I'm just going to grab that, make sure that's staying straight where I want it, then pull straight down, and come up and pull straight up, then back down once again. Then I'm going to make two wraps, then have a look at my wing, see if it's placed how I want it, and that's just fine, right on top of the hook, right where you want it, so I'm not going to fuss around with that. Okay, so we'll snip the excess. Okay, and I'm going to keep hold of the wing as you're doing this, and then I'm going to, actually I need to cut that just a hair closer. Okay, a little shot of glue. Head cement there, just a little drop. Okay, let that soak in there. Okay, I'm going to cord my thread up a little, spin it, and then we're going to start behind the eye and wrap up onto those fibers. But one thing you never want to do with quill wings, which can happen, is wrap back on them too far, because if you wrap back on them too far, the first thing they're going to do is split on you. And you don't want that to happen, so alrighty, next thing to do here is just to build that head up a little more, and then I'm going to do a whip finish, and it's a done deal. Okay, just adjusting my wing here a little bit, make sure it's where I want it. Looks good, still right on top. Okay, so I'll come in with a whip finish, 4 or 5 turns, and he's done. Just flatten that thread out. Okay, I'll make 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Just snug down on that, nice and tight. Okay, and I'm going to come in and snip off the excess here. There we go. And there we have it. Another size 12 red ibis. It's a pretty cool fly. I think it's the only wet fly that I know of that is completely red. I don't know of any more out there. and it's a really cool looking pattern. So anyway, last step is to put some solar res on them thread wraps, just to make it nice and durable. Alrighty. Okay. And give that a little turn here. Cure that guy up. And there we have it. There you go. So, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial this time around. And I want to thank you so much for watching, like always. And if you like this tutorial and you haven't, this is the first time viewing rather, go ahead and hit that subscribe. I really appreciate that a lot. And until next time, happy tying everyone. I shall see you again soon, and so long for now, folks.